Welcome all. Today we are going to be see the new topic, which is the photochemistry. Myself, Dr. Dinesh Navle from the Vivekanand College, Chembur. So what we are going to be seeing this topic. So if we are going to be see that for the particular topic in a photochemistry, we will see the some introductory part of the photochemistry, in which we are going to be see the difference between the thermal and photochemical reaction. Then we are going to be see that what exactly the meaning of the Jablonski diagram. Then what are the different type of the terminologies like singlet and triplet state, allowed and forbidden transition, fate of the excited molecule, and photosensitization. We are going to be seen detail. Then we are also going to be see that different type of the photochemical reactions of olefins like photoisomerization. One more rearrangement also we are going to be see that, which is nothing but the dipi methane rearrangement. In this topic we are also going to be study the photochemistry of carbonyl compound, in which we are going to be see Norris type 1 reaction, Norris type 2 reaction, photoreduction, that it is a conversion of the benzophenone to benzphenacol. Now if we will see that photochemistry, so what is exactly the photochemistry? So we are going to be see that photochemistry is nothing but it is the reaction of matter with light. So any interaction of light with the matter will belong to the photochemistry. So if you are going to be see that photochemical reaction, so photochemical reaction include the absorption of radiations during the photosynthesis. Without photochemical processes, the earth will be simply warm, sterile, or the rock. Systematic diagram of the photosynthesis in the plant, the carbohydrates which are going to be produced are stored in or used by the plant. So we are going to be see that this is the one of the best example which are available into the nature, which are going to be carried out by using the photochemistry. That means in which we are going to be see that there is a production of the energy as well as the sugar in the different forms. So photochemistry, in which we are going to be that what is the definition of the photochemistry. So photochemistry is the branch of chemistry which deals with the study of photochemical reactions. So any photochemical reaction, the study of all these photochemical reaction will belong to the photochemistry. So photochemical reaction, some reaction do not takes place into the dark but takes place only in the presence of light or some other radiations. Such reactions are known as the photochemical reactions. So that means those reactions which are going to be carried out in presence of the light will be called as the photochemical reactions. So in introduction we are going to see that photochemistry is a branch of chemistry which deals with the rate and mechanism of reaction takes place due to exposure of light, that is UV and visible, which is in the range of the 2000 to 8000 angstrom unit. The reactions which can be brought about by the light radiations are also called as the photochemical reactions. The term radiation includes radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays, also beam of the particle like alpha particle. It can be the neutrons, electrons, and protons. So the study of photochemistry helps us to know the changes when a molecule absorbs the radiation. So what is the difference between photochemical and thermochemical reaction? So we are going to see the exact difference between the photochemical reaction and thermal reaction. So the first point is what? Photochemical reactions involve the absorption of light or the radiation. In case of the thermal reaction, these reactions are going to be carried out by the absorption or evolution of heat energy. In the second point, photochemical reactions are going to be carried out in presence of light. That means light is the primary requirement of any photochemical reaction. And all those reactions which can take place in light as well as in dark will belong to the thermal reaction. In case of the photochemical reaction, temperature has very little effect onto the rate of the reaction. In case of the thermal reaction, temperature is the important criteria and has a significant effect onto the rate of the reaction. In case of the photochemical reaction, delta G may be positive or negative. That means Gibbs free energy can be positive or negative. But in case of the thermal reaction, delta G is always negative. That means Gibbs free energy should be negative. Photochemical activation is highly selective process. Thermal activation is not selective in nature. So what are the different type of the electronic transitions we are going to become across the photochemistry? So if we are going to be see this diagram, in many of the molecule there is a presence of the sigma electron, pi electron, or n electron, that is the non-bonded electron. So all the molecules which are going to be contain different type of the electrons will always undergo the different type of the electronic transitions. That means this is what sigma, pi, n, pi star and sigma star. So this is what these are the sigma and pi are the bonding orbital, n will be the non-bonding orbital, and sigma star and pi star will be the anti-bonding orbital. So we are going to be see that whenever there is n to pi star transition, which molecule are going to be exhibit the n to pi star transition? The molecules which are like the carbonyl, nitro, azo, imino compounds are always going to be exhibit the n to pi star transition. Pi to pi transitions are always denoted by the, or which are going to be exhibited the molecules like alkenes, alkynes or aromatic. That means those molecules which are normally going to be contain the alkene system double bond or the triple bond can show the pi to pi star transition. N to pi star transitions are always going to be exhibited by those compounds which are contain the lone pair of the electrons. So these are like amines, alcohols, haloalkanes. And normal alkanes which does not have any pi electrons or non-bonded electrons are going to be exhibit the sigma to sigma star transitions. So what is photosensitized reaction? In many photochemical reaction, the reactant molecule does not absorb the radiation required for the reaction. Hence, the reaction is not possible. In such cases, the reaction may still occur if a foreign species such as the mercury vapor is present. So that means for many of the photochemical reaction, a foreign species is important to carry out the particular photochemical reaction. So only absorption of the light will not result into the photochemical reaction. A species which can both absorb and transfer radiant energy for the activation of the reactant molecule is called as the photosensitizer. That means a species which can absorb and transfer the radiation energy for activation of the reactant molecule is called as the photosensitizer. That means photosensitizers are going to be exhibit the role of the activation of the reactant molecule by either absorb or transfer of the radiation energy. Photosensitized reaction. In many photochemical reaction, the reactant molecule does not absorb the radiation required for the reaction. Hence, the reaction is not possible. So many of the times that photosensitizer are going to be play the important role for the activation of the reactant molecule. The reaction is so caused by the photosensitizer, so it is also called as the photosensitized reaction. So if you are going to be that the Jablonski diagram, a good starting point for a discussion of the luminescence, fluorescence, phosphorescence, which can be easily simplified by using the Jablonski diagram, which is also called as the JD diagram. The Jablonski diagram is employed to present the energy level of the molecule. That means different energy level can be easily explained by using the Jablonski diagram. Jablonski diagram also gives the idea about the fate of the excited molecule. That means when molecule is at the ground state, it will absorb some light energy, and after absorption of the light energy, it will go into the excited state. And what exactly is going to be happen with the excited molecule can be easily demonstrated by using the Jablonski diagram. In Jablonski diagram, as indicated JD, S0, S1 and S2 represent the ground state. So S is the ground state. If it is S0, it represent the first ground state, second ground state, like that one. Respectively, T indicate the triplet electronic states, whereas T1, T2 describe the first and T1 stand for what? First triplet electronic state. T2 indicate the second triplet electronic state respectively. Each electronic energy level of a molecule has numerous vibrational and rotational energy sublevels. So this is the actual Jablonski diagram. You are going to be observe it is the energy in this direction. So this is S0 ground level, S1, S2 first, then the second level T1 and T2 stand for order the triplet excited state. This is what singlet excited state, in which we are going to be observe the different type of the electronic transition, where we are going to be observe the IC stand for internal conversion. This is ISC stand for internal system conversion. So if we are going to be observe in this molecule, this F stand for what? Fluorescence, and P stand for what? Phosphorescence. So how we are going to be easily simplify this molecule? When molecule will be at the ground state like H0, molecule are going to be absorb some of the light energy. After absorption of the light energy, molecule will be going into the singlet excited state. Singlet excited state. So in singlet excited state, if energy is not sufficient to remain the molecule into the S1 state, molecule will be again come back into the ground state, that is the H0, which has been given by the green arrow. But if the absorbed molecule are going to be having the greater energy, it will be again going to the higher excited state, which is called as what? S2. And if it is sufficient, it will remain into the S2 state. If the energy is not sufficient to remain the molecule in S2 state, it will again come into the S1 state, and it will again come back to the ground state. So what is going to be happen when molecule will go into the excited state? While into the excited state like the S1 singlet excited state, molecule will come toward the ground state with loss of some energy, and that energy is nothing but what? 10 raised to the power minus 9 to the 10 raised to the power minus 7, which is called as what? Fluorescence phenomena. That means S1 to H0 will be what? Fluorescence. Sometime ISC stand for what? Intersystem crossing. In many of the excited molecule, H0 molecule will be converted into the T1. That means it is a triplet excited state, where it will be converted into triplet excited state. If molecule will be having the sufficient energy into the T1 state, molecule will be remain into the T1 state for some time, and if it will be having more than sufficient energy, it will go into the T2 states. And sometime the T1 molecule is again going to be come back to the ground state like H0 with loss of some of the energy. That phenomena will be called as the phosphorescence. That means if molecule which are into the singlet excited state, if it will come to the ground state, it will be called as what? Fluorescence. And if molecule into the triplet state, and if it will become directly into the H0 state, it will be called as what? Phosphorescence. So what is the photophysical processes? If the absorbed radiation is not used to cause the chemical change, it is re-emitted as the light or the longer wavelength. That means sometime molecule at the ground state will absorb the energy, it will go into the excited state. If that absorbed energy is not sufficient to carry out the chemical changes, molecule will be again come back to the ground state with the emission of the longer wavelength. The three such photophysical processes are normally called as the fluorescence, phosphorescence, and the chemiluminescence. So what is the fluorescence? Fluorescence is the process at which certain molecule, when exposed to the light radiation of shorter wavelength, emits the light of longer wavelength. So emission of the light with longer wavelength will always belong to the fluorescence phenomena. Substances that exhibit the fluorescence is called as the fluorophore. Fluorescence stops as soon as the incident radiation is cut off. So what is the phosphorescence? When a substance absorbs the radiation of high frequency and it emits the light even after the incident radiation is cut off, the process is called as what? Phosphorescence. The substance which shows the phosphorescence is called as the phosphorescent substance. Phosphorescence is chiefly caused by the UV light or the visible light. It is generally shown by the solid molecules. Some of the example of the molecule which are going to be exhibit the fluorescence, phosphorescence are the sulfate of the calcium, barium, strontium. These molecules can easily exhibit the phosphorescence phenomena. Fluorescein in boric acid shows the phosphorescence in the blue region at the 570 nanometer wavelength. Phosphorescence could be designated as the delayed fluorescence. So this is one of the example of the phosphorescence. So these are some of the electronic transition as we have already shown into the Jablonski diagram. Electronic transitions are normally of two types. They are going to be classified as allowed transitions or the forbidden transitions. Allowed transitions can having the two types of the spin multiplicity, that is no change in the spin multiplicity, or they are going to be change the spin multiplicity, that is from singlet to singlet or the triplet to triplet will be there. So it will be called as what? No change in the spin multiplicity, that is singlet will be remain only singlet and triplet will be remain only triplet, will be called as what? Allowed transition. But in case of the forbidden transition, as we have discussed here, there is a change in the spin multiplicity occurs. That means a singlet molecule will be converted into the triplet state and a triplet state will be converted into the singlet state. So this is the phenomenon of fluorescence and phosphorescence. So this is the H0 molecule in ground state. Absorption of the light, it will go into the singlet excited state, and singlet excited state will can give the fluorescence or it can give the phosphorescence, depends upon the wavelength by which they are going to emit the light. The lifetime of excited singlet molecule is very short. It ranges from 10 raised to the power minus 9 to 10 raised to the power minus 6 second. Therefore, it is very important phenomena because half-life is very small. Absorption and emission. And electronic transitions occurs when an electron changes from state to another state. The orbital is leaving must be part filled. It contains at least one electron, and the orbital it is entering must be partly unfilled. That means it contains less than 2 electrons. So this is a photosensitized reaction. So as we are going to be see, in many photochemical reaction, the reactant molecule does not absorb the radiation required for the reaction. Hence the reaction is not possible. In all these cases, a molecule, as we have discussed, the molecule or the species which are responsible for the absorption or transfer of the radiant energy of the reactant molecule and which are responsible for the activation of the reactant molecule will be called as what? Photosensitizer. And those molecules which are going to be carry out the photosensitization will be called as the photosensitizer, and the phenomena or the reaction will be called as what? Photosensitized reaction. In this reaction we are going to be easily observe. So this is the photosensitized reactions. Example is there. Some of the molecule like glyoxal can carry out the dimerization. Formal radical can be carried out by using the photosensitized reaction. So photochemical reactions of olefins. So in the next step we are going to see that what are the different type of the reactions can be shown by the olefins. So first we are going to be see that photoisomerization, and second reaction that we are going to be see that it is the photochemical rearrangement of 1,4-diene, that is dipymethane rearrangement. So what is photoisomerization? So isomerization means that there is a change in the geometry. Some compounds undergo the rearrangement reaction in presence of the light, forming the structural isomers. That means we know that trans olefin are the most stable olefin which are normally going to be formed in many of the thermal reaction. So to form the cis olefin is a difficult task, but by using the photoisomerization reaction, we can easily carry out the internal conversion of the cis olefin into the trans olefin. So that's why it will be called as the photoisomerization reaction of the cis trans isomerism in olefin molecule. So when olefins are irradiated by UV light, they undergo the cis trans isomerization, and we are going to be give the particular process. So this is one of the things. The isomerism has been occurs through a singlet or the triplet excited state. The triplet state has lower barrier to rotation around the carbon-carbon bond. So the isomerization has been occurs because of the pi bond lattice character into the excited state. So we are going to be see some of the things. Photoisomerization is the behavior of the molecule in which a structural changes between the isomer is going to be carried out by the photoexcitation. So some of the photoisomerization usually indicate the reversible process. So this is the first example. The azo compounds can undergo the photoisomerization. This is a trans compound. In case of the UV light, it will be converted into the cis compound. And if it is again reversible process, that means it is isomerization of cis into the trans. In the second example also, we are going to see that trans stilbene. So stilbene molecule which is are into the strand geometry, in case of the photoisomerization, it can be converted into the cis geometry also. So photochemical rearrangement of 1,4-diene, that is a dipymethane rearrangement. So 1,4-dienes are also undergo photochemical rearrangement to phenyl cyclopropane. So conversion of 1,4-diene into the phenyl cyclopropane is termed as the photochemical rearrangement or the dipymethane rearrangement. If diene containing unless conjugated substituent reaction proceed by using the triplet sensitizer, it is also called as what? Zimmermann rearrangement. So what is dipymethane rearrangement? So the dipymethane rearrangement, it is a photochemical reaction of the molecular entity that contain two pi systems which are separated by the saturated carbon atom. That means only a 1,4-diene or an allyl substituted aromatic ring or any of the in which are the aryl substituted cyclopropane can form as the product. That means only 1,4-diene or allyl substituted aromatic can undergo the dipymethane rearrangement with the formation of the substituted cyclopropane. So this is the representative example of the 1,4-diene compound. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it is a 1,4-diene which has the substituent at carbon number 3 as the methyl. In presence of the light will give the formation of the substituted cyclopropane will be called as what? Dipymethane rearrangement. So that is the important thing is what? The C3 can be substituted by the any of the alkyl substituent. Then it is a pi means pi bond, and that is a methane. So that methane is also going to be there in between the two pi bonds. There is one methane carbon is there. So that's why it is called as what? Dipymethane rearrangement. So this is the photochemical rearrangement of 1,4-diene dipymethane rearrangement. If you are going to be see this example, in which we are going to be easily observe, this rearrangement is also called as a dipymethane rearrangement. So we have the diagram in front of us. We are going to be see the mechanism in detail. This process involves the 1,2 shift. This process involves the 1,2 shift. This mechanism and efficiency of the process, it depends upon the nature of the system. For a cyclic and monocyclic compound, the rearrangement occurs via the singlet transition state. The rearrangement can involve either singlet or triplet excited state. And C2 and C4 carbon atom is very important. because there is a formation of the bond between the carbon number 2 and carbon number 4. See, if we are going to be observe this molecule, so this is a unsubstituted 1,4-diene, which are in presence of the photon or the light by using the photosensitizer, will give the formation of the radical of this olefin. So there is a formation of a single radical here and single radical here by the homolytic cleavage. So in next step, it will give the formation of the again free radical on this carbon as well as this carbon. So there will be the 4 free radical, 1, 2, 3 and 4. But the carbon number 2 and carbon number 4 free radical will form the new bond, will give the formation of the cyclopropane. And there is a formation of the cyclopropane which will further again undergo the bond breaking between this carbon atom and this carbon atom. So breaking of this bond by the free radical mechanism will generate the free radical on this carbon as well as free radical on this carbon, and we are going to get the formation of this system, which on spin inversion will give the formation of the vinyl cyclopropane or substituted cyclopropane as the product. Again, substituted dienone system can also undergo the dipyrmethane rearrangement. This reaction is more efficient when the substituents are present on the C3 carbon atom. That means it is carbon number 1, 2, 3. If there is any substituent are going to be present at this carbon atom, these reactions are more efficient. The reaction is highly stereospecific and occurs with the retention in configuration at C1 and C5 carbon atom. That means the configuration of the carbon number 1 and carbon number 5 will be retained. So that's why it is a stereospecific reaction. So this is also one of the example of the vinyl substituted aromatic ring, which can also give phenyl cyclopropane as the product by this mechanism. So this is also the representative example of the dipyrmethane rearrangement. We can easily observe all the thing. There is a formation of new bond between carbon number and carbon number 2 and carbon number 4, which is indicated by a red line, and also there is a formation of new carbon-carbon bond between carbon number 3 and carbon number 5, which is also denoted by the red line. So this is also the numbering system for the dipyrmethane rearrangement. So this is a probable mechanism for the formation of the vinyl cyclopropane from the 1,4-diene system. So we are going to be now come across the photochemistry of the carbonyl compound. So we have seen two important reaction of the photochemistry. One was the photoisomerization, second one was the dipyrmethane rearrangement. Now we are going to see the next reaction, which is what photochemistry of the carbonyl compound, in which we are going to see the two reactions mainly, which is the Norris type 1 reaction as well as the Norris type 2 reaction. And third reaction which we are going to be see that, which is the photoreduction. That means it is the conversion of benzophenone to the benzphenacol molecule. So what is Norris type 1 reaction? The Norris type 1 reaction is the photochemical cleavage or the homolysis of aldehyde and ketone into two free radical intermediates. So what we have discussed, Norris type 1 reactions are normally exhibited by the molecules like the aldehyde and ketone, which always give the formation of the two free radical intermediates. The carbonyl group like aldehyde and ketone accept a photon, that the light energy, and is excited to a photochemical singlet state. This effect will be responsible for the carbonyl will be converted into the carbon chain. So this is the representative example of the Norris type 1 reaction. So we can easily observe a ketone or the aldehyde molecule on absorption of the photon or the light, it will undergo into the singlet excited state. In a singlet excited state, they can undergo the intersystem crossing, will give the formation of the triplet state. The triplet state or the singlet excited state will carry out the further conversion with breaking of the carbonyl carbon and the alpha carbon atom bond by the homolytic cleavage, we will get the formation of two free radical, like alkyl free radical and the another as the carbonyl radical with radical onto the carbon. So this is example. If you are going to be see that there is a carbonyl radical like this one, this carbon of the carbonyl group and R group will again cleave, will give the formation of another R radical. So that R radical and R dash radical will be combined and will give the formation of the alkane molecule. So in Norris type 1 reaction, aldehyde and ketone on photochemical reaction will give the formation of the alkane as the product with formation of the carbon monoxide as the byproduct. So what is then Norris type 2 reaction? Norris type 2 reaction is the photochemical intramolecular abstraction of the gamma hydrogen atom. That means in aldehyde, ketone or any carbonyl system, if there is the presence of the gamma hydrogen atom, they can undergo the Norris type 2 reaction in presence of the photon or the light. Norris type 2 reaction is first reported reaction in 1937. Secondary reaction that occurs are the fragmentation to form the enol and alkene as well as the cyclobutane. That means Norris type 2 reaction along with the main product. What is the main product? 1,4 biradical will be formed as the primary photoproduct. But there is also formation of the secondary product like enol, which can be further converted into the aldehyde or ketone or carbonyl system, or alkene as well as the cyclobutanes. These three are the secondary byproduct of the Norris type 2 reaction. So this is the example. If you are going to see that, it is the alpha, beta, gamma carbon atom of the carbonyl system having the gamma hydrogen atom. So that gamma hydrogen atom will going to be break by the free radical mechanism like homolytic cleavage, and will give the formation of this intermediate which will give the formation of enol. So this is the enol as the byproduct, alkene which is also the byproduct, and cyclobutane which is also the byproduct or the other products is there. It is characterized by the transfer of the gamma hydrogen atom to a carbonyl group. So in this reaction we are going to be easily observe that there is a transfer of the gamma hydrogen atom from gamma carbon atom to the carbonyl group. This transformation has been occurred through a 6-member transition state forming the methyl carbonyl compound and the olefin. So formation of the 6-member transition state is the characteristics of the Norris type 2 reaction. Both N2 pi star and singlet and N2 pi star triplets are going to be involved into this mechanism. Ketone having the gamma hydrogen atom is always going to become under the Norris type 2 reaction. Will give the formation of olefin and enol of a smaller ketone. So this is the representative example which gives the formation of the 6-member transition state with gamma hydrogen atom will be migrated toward the carbonyl oxygen and will give the formation of enol which will be then subsequently converted into the aldehyde or the ketone with formation of the olefin as the another product. So the alpha beta unsaturated carbonyl compound undergoes the Norris type 2 reaction through 6-member transition state to get the enol containing the gamma hydrogen atom as this one. So this is the classical reaction. So in previous slide we have seen what is the Norris type 1 and type 2 reaction. So what is the exact difference between Norris type 1 and type 2? So if you are going to be see Norris type 1 reaction are going to be normally involve the fragmentation of the carbonyl carbon and the alpha carbon atom which gives the formation of the alkane as the main product. But in case of the Norris type 2, presence of the gamma hydrogen atom is a necessary condition. That gamma hydrogen atom will be migrated to the carbonyl oxygen, which gives the formation of enol and then ketone or the aldehyde and olefin as the product. So that is the major difference between both Norris type 1 and type 2. So we are observe Norris type 1 reaction is the photochemical reaction which normally involve the cleavage of the carbon of the ketone, carbonyl carbon of the ketone bond, and Norris type 2 reaction involve the transfer of the gamma hydrogen atom to the carbonyl oxygen. So next reaction that we are going to be see that which is the photo reduction of the carbonyl compounds. That means carbonyl compounds like ketone, which on simple reduction will give the formation of the alcohol as the product. Photo reduction means this is the reduction of the ketone or the carbonyl compound will give the formation of the alcohol, but this reaction are going to be carried out by using the photon or the light. So that's why it is called as photo reduction of the carbonyl compound. So photo reduction of the benzophenone to benzphenacol is also called as a photo reduction of the carbonyl compound, and these reaction are going to be carried out by using the light of having the wavelength 340 nanometer. So in which isopropyl alcohol are going to be utilized as the solvent. So after the carrying out the reaction, benzophenone will be converted into the benzphenacol. That isopropyl alcohol will be converted in the ketone as the byproduct, like the acetone. So what we are going to be observe, initially benzophenone, which is into the ground state, which is called as what, H0 state. Like, so in H0 state, by absorption of the photon or the light, it will be converted into the S1 as a singlet excited state. The singlet excited state by the ISC mechanism, that is intersystem crossing, will be converted into the triplet excited state. So in next step, the triplet excited state, which are going to be absorb the hydrogen of the propanol, will give the formation of ketyl radical. So in this case, there is a formation of two ketyl radical, and in the last step, two ketyl radical which are going to be give the combine and will give the formation of dimerization type of the mechanism with formation of benzphenacol as the main product, and that isopropyl alcohol will be converted into the ketone or the acetone as the byproduct. So this is a general representation of the photo reduction. This benzophenone, two molecule and one molecule of the isopropyl alcohol in presence of the photon or the light will give the formation of the benzophenacol. So light is the important necessary condition to carry out the reaction. So we are going to be see the mechanism. So what is going to be happen in the step 1, benzophenone by absorption of the photon will be give the formation of the radical. So there is the formation of the carbon radical as well as the oxygen radical with breaking of the pi bond between the carbonyl carbon and the oxygen. So in this step we are going to be see that step 2. So what is going to be happen in step 2, the oxygen radical will absorb or abstract the hydrogen from the isopropyl alcohol, will give the formation of only as a carbon radical, and it will give the formation of the another radical which is what, isopropyl radical. So in the next step, which is a step 3, in a step 3 that we already discussed, that it will give the formation of this as the another. So second molecule of the benzphenacol will also undergo the same reaction, abstract the proton, will give the formation of second ketyl radical or the acetone as the byproduct. So these are the stepwise explanation. And in last step, two ketyl radical which has been formed, which will undergo the dimerization type of the reaction and will give the formation of benzphenacol as the product. So this is what we have to discuss from the photochemistry. If you like the content of this video, then you can share the video and you can also subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you.